Behold now an undead's pilgrimage. Divina Commedia, the Divine Comedy, one of the greatest works of world literature, helped in standardizing the Italian language and has served as the outstanding depiction of Catholic heaven and hell for many centuries. Dark Souls, one of the greatest video games of all time, helped to create and popularize a new type of game genre, hence aptly named Souls-likes, and has served as an outstanding example of what challenging modern video games should strive to be pretty much ever since its release. A journey to salvation containing many challenges. A journey to salvation containing many challenges. Two incredible and very influential pieces of art, each in their own regard. But let's take a look at how much of an overlap there is with them and how Dark Souls might have been consciously or unconsciously inspired by Dante Alighieri's magnum opus. Of course, there are many obvious surface-level similarities, a long and perilous journey with a focus on verticality, images of heaven and hell, meeting and talking with many different characters along the way. But the main thread that links these two pieces of art is something else. Let's call it a personal triumph for now. To fully understand it, we must thoroughly examine the journey. At the start of the game, after creating our character, of course, we find ourselves lost in an unfamiliar land. Now, a prison cell is of course different than the forest Dante finds himself in at the start of the Divine Comedy, but the concept is the same. Both protagonists are lost, and when I say protagonists, I'm talking about Dante Alighieri, who is lost in a forest of sin, and in the case of Dark Souls, the player themselves. Yes, that's right, the player is the main character of Dark Souls, not whatever eldritch abomination character they make. The player learns and improves more so than the stats of their character, and at the beginning of the game, the player is lost. They don't know what to do, what to expect, how to fight back against this hostile world. And this lack of knowledge and of ability is the sin that the player goes on their journey to rid themselves of. Now switching back to the comedy. At its beginning, Dante is attacked by many vicious beasts that wish to halter his progress. These beasts, a leopard, lion, and she-wolf, all represent different aspects of unholy life. The player will also face many dangerous beasts on their journey. Both Dante and the player will need help in overcoming them. Both will meet guides. In the comedy, these guides come in the form of the Roman writer Virgil, and later on, Beatrice and Saint Bernard. The player also meets many different people who offer them help: Oscar, Soler, Andre, but they are not the guides. That role is taken by other players and their messages. See them, learn from their mistakes, their wisdom. It is they who shall guide you across this perilous journey chosen undead. Heed their words. Well, sometimes it's best not to. But you will need all the help that you can get, because just as Dante has to go through the many layers of hell, so too the player must go on a perilous journey. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. This is the inscription that is written above the gates leading to hell. A fitting description for someone playing Dark Souls for the first time, the game of course being infamous for its quite brutal difficulty. After defeating the opening boss and leaving the undead asylum, you are left in an open area. Which way should you go? Listen to your guides, lest you wander in the wrong direction. Just as Dante, accompanied by Virgil, begins the Inferno, descending deeper and deeper into the circus of hell, so does Dark Souls throw at you more and more wicked and dangerous foes. Though in Dark Souls, of course, at first your objective is higher, not lower. The ascent through the Undead Birch, where you meet Solaire and his worship of the sun for the first time. All the way to the Gargoyles of the Bell Tower, possibly the first true proper challenge. This section could be described as taking the ferry across the river Acheron and entering Hell proper. Once you defeat them, it is time to partake in the part of the game that most resembles Dante's Inferno and the many circles of Hell. Descending through the depths into Blighttown and all the way down to Lost Izalith. Darkness, sickness, unnatural creatures, fire and death. Just as the severity of sin for the circles increases, so here does the challenge you have to overcome. Lust, gluttony, greed, anger, heresy, violence, fraud, treachery. Dante and the player will need to overcome vicious and wicked sin on their journeys, descending deeper and deeper. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So when does it end? When do you reach the Garden of Eden and Paradise? When do you begin Dante's ascent? Visually, it would of course have to be Anor Londo, the city where gods reside, in their shining palaces. But in reality, in Dark Souls, Paradise isn't a place, it's more of a state of mind. Paradise is when you, as the kids say, finally get good. When you get it, when you learn all the tricks, when you become skillful enough to overcome all the challenges. And most important of all, when you start to love the game. This could already be somewhere early on. Maybe it's in the middle or towards the end. It could even be in New Game Plus. This holy feeling that so many players experienced truly made Dark Souls a divine game. One that launched From Software and their games into stardom. Bloodborne, Dark Souls 2, okay, this is kinda shit, but never mind. Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Elden Ring. These are some of the most beloved games of the past 2 decades. And I myself played them all. I of course enjoyed some more than others, but nonetheless, each one has been a challenge and a unique, enjoyable experience in its own right. Each one a different sphere of paradise. And while playing them, you can truly feel God's love. Even if that love is sometimes shown in a very sadistic way. So, were you too once a lonely undead sinner, lost in a forest without the necessary skill to progress? Did you go on this long and perilous journey through the inferno, only to make it through, and then start climbing all the way up to the Paradiso. Tell me, have you experienced the feeling of divine souls?